Ronald, are you there?
I am. Good evening.
Good evening.
How are you doing?
I am doing great, thank you.
I'm glad to hear that. I was wanting to bother you all week and decided not to bother you.
I appreciate that. You doing all right?
I'm doing great. Life is wonderful.
Absolutely. Oh, wait.
No, I think I can hear people.
Good evening, David.
Good evening.
David, I'm here. Sir, Mr. Cluster Kemper.
Oh,
hello there. Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing good, thank you.
I guess we're waiting for Adam and/or Daryl and/or Jamie.
Here comes Adam.
Evening, Mayor.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm fine, how you doing?
Great, thanks. When I talked to Jamie last, she said she would be here, so I know she's coming.
Okay. There's Adam.
Good evening, Adam. Turn your mic on.
Just messing with you. How you guys doing?
Good.
Doing good.
I was doing good till you got here.
I think every web meeting I pretended like I can't hear, and everyone's like, "Your mic! It's your mic!" I know I can hear you.
We might ask you to mute your video, Adam.
My video.
We may ask you to cut off your video. I don't know.
I can do that.
If you pick your teeth while we're meeting.
Is that better? Wonderful. I had to mess with you. Who do we have? Is Ken on?
I am here.
Nice. Ken, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. How you doing, man?
Good. You feeling okay?
I am feeling great, thank you.
That's all that matters.
Absolutely.
Okay. Jamie, are you on here?
I am.
Has anybody heard from Daryl? I haven't heard yay or nay if he's going to be able to attend.
I have not heard from him,
I have not.
but upon 6:30 we can go ahead and get started. David, before you get started, we'll need to, let me just get the recording started, but we'll wait till 6:30 for that to
Okay.
happen.
I like the other one better. I like the other.
Okay. Okay, good evening, everybody. It being 6:30, I'll turn this over, the RDC meeting over to David. We are recording tonight's meeting, and we'll make sure that it is published to comply with all of our virtual meeting requirements. We also have Attorney Chris Stephen on this evening for any questions related to that. But with that, David, meeting's all yours.
Alrighty, thank you. Why don't we begin with the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag? I have a flag right here by me, so I'll stand. I pledge allegiance
Pledge allegiance
to the United States of America,
America,
to the republic for which
it stands,
one
One
nation,
nation,
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty
and justice for all.
Today is Thursday, May 21st, 2020. The time is 6:30 p.m. The regular meeting of the City of Greensburg Redevelopment Commission is called to order. At this time, if you're don't have anything to say, rather than silencing your electronic devices, maybe mute your microphone, although I haven't heard much background noise. Oh, we don't have Daryl to do our roll call. Can we get someone to be secretary for the evening?
I nominate Adam.
Second that. I think that might be bad. I am swamped to get notes to you if I have to, but it could be a bad situation. You want me to do it?
If you could, please.
Okay.
And I'll be sure that you get a copy of the recording if that's helpful too.
Yeah. I'll get this done at some point. I'll get the notes back. Life's a little hectic. I'll do roll call then. David Weigel.
Present.
Adam Wenzel. Present. Ken Dornick.
Present.
Daryl Poling. Jamie Humpert.
Present.
Jamie, oh, there you are. Awesome. Chris Steven. Steve Dorflinger.
Present.
Here we go.
Alrighty, next item is approved minutes. I've not seen a copy of February's minutes. I did email Daryl yesterday, and he said he thought he had got them to us. If we got them, I don't recall seeing them. He said he'd get them to me, but I've checked various times and 5 minutes ago, and I did not see any email from him. So I think we'll have to table approval of February's minutes. Moving on then to old business, the first item, Mr. May, City Engineer, object of project status for Veterans Way Phase 2. If you could discuss that for us.
Good evening. I am pleased to be able to report to you that all of the pieces appear to be in place. The plan updates have been completed. I've had word from Patrick Wooden that the contract information book has been worked out with NDOT. The major utility relocation, which was Vectron, has been completed. ETC has a little bit of work to do out there. I am unsure on the status of that one, but I think the major utility work is already ahead of us. We are scheduled for a letting date of July the 8th of this year, so we're only, about 6 weeks away from letting. The money, I believe, is all in place. The Board of Works, in their previous meeting, approved the supplemental agreement or the addendum to the agreement for construction engineering. So that's in place. Not sure meeting next month, but you're meeting in July. If we have a letting on the 8th, we should know if the state has awarded the contract by the Friday of that week, which I think is the 10th.
Right.
Your meeting in July, I believe, will be on the 18th, and in that meeting,
I think 16.
if 16th, that's even better. That would be correct. In that meeting, we will probably be asking you to approve funding of the city's share, and as soon as we can get our money together and submitted to the state, that should be the last hurdle in order to proceed towards the contractor starting work, hopefully by the 1st of August. The only potential fly in the ointment is if we get ridiculously high bids and the state would refuse to let it. But I'm optimistic that that won't occur, and I probably just put my foot in my mouth. But they have revised. They used to have hard rules about how much over the engineer's estimate they might agree to, and now they've got some more flexible rules. My experience in having done this for a few years is reletting projects never reduces the cost. It only delays the project. And the old practice was to keep raising the engineer's estimate until you got a bid under it. So actually that whole thing is a lot better than it used to be. So I'm pretty excited, and the only better news I can imagine sharing will be when we have a project that's been awarded and we know we're going. Questions?
That's wonderful news. I don't have any questions.
That's great.
I guess then are you ready to move on then?
I am.
To the update of planning services for the project list?
Yes. We've had some back and forth with American Structure Point. They are in the phase of trying to secure community input, stakeholders' input. We have been passing back and forth a list of stakeholders, and that list has been finalized and returned to American Structure Point. They, they will be setting up some face-to-face meetings. Seems strange to say that these days. And some Zoom meetings with the people on the list of stakeholders and trying to get information from members of our community to start to formulate a list of things that could or should be looked at in terms of your capital improvement plan. We're probably a little bit behind schedule because of COVID, but we are moving forward, and that seems to be going in the right direction also.
Good.
Any questions for Mr. May regarding that? All right, thank you. Mr. Mayor, would you care to give us an update of the community-wide bicycle and pedestrian master plan?
I wish I had better news. I don't remember if the last time we spoke, if I shared that they had requested more information from us as a community about who the grant would be administered to, our tax identification number, and sort of random financial information. That came probably either a month or a month and a half ago, and then I have not heard anything back from them. The tone of the information that they were seeking was positive. You know, they wanted to know legal name and bank information and things like that. So it seemed like they wouldn't need that information if they were going to turn us down. So we'll just have to wait and see, but we haven't heard from them. It seems that the grant process at the state has just really stalled in lots of ways. We're still working on our $250,000 that Okra announced a month ago, maybe 4 or 5 weeks ago now, and we're still working through the paperwork on that. So I think some of the grant administrative pieces has sort of gotten tied up with COVID money, but that's all I have on that.
Okay, alrighty. Thank you. Any questions for the mayor?
Not I.
Alrighty. Moving on then to new business. Mr. May, City Engineer, resolution of Greensburg Redevelopment Commission determining need to capture incremental assessed valuation.
I believe this is an item that you deal with annually, and I believe that this is required by statute to be completed, I want to say the 15th of June. Reedy Financial had provided us a couple of weeks ago a resolution which I forwarded to each of you. The essence of the resolution is that after doing some economic analysis, that you don't have any extra money to give back to the underlying taxing entities. And so this resolution determines that you're not going to return any of that money. And then after you have passed this resolution, there are some letters that we have for David's signature notifying, I think there's 5 of them, Mark?
I think so.
Yeah, 5 underlying taxing entities. And so for your consideration is this resolution. And I will share that since we're not meeting in the same room, if you agree to this, the resolution will be in the clerk treasurer's office. City Hall remains closed, but you may call over there and make arrangements to stop in and sign the resolution. There's also, I think, 7 claims that have already been paid that they would like your signatures on. Jamie, I think you've already dealt with that. And then finally, you have a couple of claims this evening that you also may need to stop in and sign.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions for Mr. May regarding the resolution?
No.
Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion for approval of this resolution.
So moved. So moved.
I'll take Adam's motion and Ken's second.
Absolutely. Yes.
Those in favor of the motion, well, I'm sorry. Adam, would you conduct roll call, please? Roll call vote.
Yeah. Dave Weigel,
Brett, present. Yes, approved.
Adam Wenzel, yes. Ken Dorney,
Yes.
Jamie Humphrey.
Yes.
That's it.
Thank you. Motion carries 4-0. So, anybody know off the top of your head the phone number for Clerk Treasurer's office? Not that I can't look it up and find it, but
You can just call the front desk 663-3344.
okay. Thank you. Mr. Klosterkamper, would you care to update us on the Reedy Financial Group financial review and cash flow?
Yes, they've been working on it. I've had several conversations with them by phone. We have tried to forward them as much data as we could. Matter of fact, today we finally got First Financial Bank to release the status of the bond. And it took a couple of days to get that accomplished, but we do finally have it. I could tell you, I apologize, I just got this afternoon. The outstanding balance that we showed is $9.5 million. The actual balance today with interest is $2,290,277.68. They will adjust everything as they continue to, and you won't see the $9.5 million showing up anymore. They were able to take the amortization table and they will be able to reflect and calculate interest very accurately for your long-term financial plan. They seem to be making a concentrated effort. Like I said, I've spoken to probably 4 different people that have been working on the project, and I think they've just struggled because they weren't able to obtain information as quickly as they'd like to, and it's finally starting to come in, and I think they're getting closer.
One little
I
question.
can answer any questions I know about the bond besides that. Go ahead, David.
I don't know if you, Mark, or Mr. Ron, if you would answer. How much do we feel we're going to need from the bond to pay for the construction of Phase 2?
Based on our last engineer's estimate, which is the best thing we've got to go for construction costs, we're going to need somewhere around $760,000.
Okay.
And then the other.
Then as far as the construction engineering contract that you had presented last month, I have that in front of me. That is $485,000. We will have to pay 100% of that, and then we will receive 80% back. So you can anticipate having a cost in that of roughly $96,000 after all the reimbursements that come back.
There's typically like a 3-month lag from when we pay out the money until we get the 80% reimbursement.
Okay.
That brings up also the matter of the $1.25 million that we paid to S&P Development. We are still awaiting $1 million reimbursement from the state. So your 2.4 million, was it, Mark? In a sense,
2.3 as of today. That's got accrued interest in it.
So that's more like 1.3 once we get reimbursed.
Pardon?
That's like 1.3 million after we get the $1 million reimbursement.
We have to give the reimbursement back, and we will have 1.3 million, and then we'll turn around in July, and we'll immediately have to get 760,000 for the 20% of the actual bid is at that time. And with your blessing from this group, I'm going to go ahead and work with Justin Cooper at First Financial to try to get as much information to him ahead of time so that we can process that and hopefully have the bond disbursement as quickly as we can get it right after the letting.
Is there anything we need to do in the form of a motion to allow you to do that right now?
I don't know. I've done it in the past, like for the mission a quarter.
Okay.
But I just want you to be aware of it, that I'm going to start that probably in June
Okay.
so that we're ready to go. And when they send me an invoice and say $758,000, I want to be able to call him and say, cut this check and get the project going.
At the worst case, we could have a special meeting if you have to do something.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But with the 6-day lag time after we think the state will make the award, it's probably not even worth a special meeting there.
Mm-hmm.
I would suggest at least having the minutes reflect a vote of confidence in Mark proceeding that way.
Could I hear a motion to that effect?
So moved.
I heard Ken first. Ken will let you make the motion there, and Adam second.
Thanks.
Those in favor of the motion, or I'm sorry, Adam, can you do roll call, please?
Yeah, Dave Weigel,
Yes.
Adam Wenzel, Ken Dorney,
Yes.
Jamie Humford.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. Anything else to report on that then, Mark?
Well, the only other question I would have, since I'm dealing with Justin, and we will start incurring construction engineering expenses, do we want to take a draw on that each time? Or do you want me to see if I can get him to give us X amount of dollars that we anticipate we will start getting our lag period and be receiving reimbursement and just keep rolling it? Because that'll happen as soon as the project starts. We'll start needing funds. And I don't know your cash situation, but we could at least get an operating amount from him that we can utilize until we get through the completion of the project.
That makes good sense to me.
Yeah,
That way you're not using.
In the past, we've always had to send over minutes showing that it's been approved for every single penny before they would let us draw down anything. So if he can do it this way, it's a lot easier.
It's a lot simpler.
I would think at the meeting we have when we go ahead and approve the payment to get ready for the construction engineering, we're going to have a number generated. We'll probably have to have minutes with a motion, and then I will go ahead and tell him that we probably need, let's say, at the worst scenario, 5 months at $30,000, and we'll get the process again so that we can have that $150,000 distributed to us, and then we can make the payments, and we ought to be able to rule from there on out as long as NDOT processes things in a timely manner and gets us reimbursed.
You will have the letting, so you will have one more opportunity to revisit this.
Any other questions from anybody regarding this discussion? If not, we'll move on to discussion of funding for Pirate Park building. Mr. May.
Yes, in your project list, you have had an item for recreation at Rebecca Park. And it's been my understanding, excuse me, that Rebecca Park is inclusive of also Pirate Park that may or may not someday be physically connected. We have been working on the finalization of Pirate Park. Is anybody that's been by there recently notices that the grading work is done, and we have now seeded the entire site to grass. And the good Lord willing, we have appropriate growing weather. We will have grass very shortly. So the remaining pieces that we are working with is a vehicular drop-off area at the north entrance. We need to put some ADA compliant paths through parts of the site. we are looking to put some fence. Probably most of it similar to the cable and post system that the high school uses. Although on the west side, we're looking at some kind of more of a privacy type fence, maybe a nice chain link, or maybe something with a little bit more of a barrier than that. And the big piece is a building that will include restrooms, concession operations, and storage space. We are working on that budget, but at the moment it looks like we could be in $200,000 to $300,000 to finish up the project. So the purpose of this being on your agenda is to make you aware that we would like to have access to some of all of whatever money you have committed to the Rebecca Park project. The schedule is not finalized, but we'd like to get started on the design of the building and get into construction this fall and have it in place by early spring of 2021.
If I remember a few years ago when the city was going through the Stellar project application, I think at that time we committed, I think it was $150,000 to the soccer fields, but this is the building I think would be part of all that whole project. So
I think it's an integral piece to make the soccer field work.
Mm-hmm.
And the city has already spent $250,000, right, Ron?
Just a little less than that, but yeah, like 245 or something.
On the dirt work to make it what it is. So I guess we would ask, this, if you had paid for some of the dirt work, we would have shifted that money this way. So.
And we believe the county has made a commitment to help out with some of this.
Theirs is more generally the Stellar projects identified in the Stellar application, where your money was specifically targeted towards that area of the community. So we would, I think what Ron and I Ron's been working on floor plans, and we've been trying to talk to builders. We would like to at least have access, if you're willing, to some of the money so that we can start the professional services side of getting that completed and then get it to where we can bid it out. Is that a correct assessment, Ron?
Yes, that is the path that we need to go down. It'll take us a couple of months, 3 months to get a design, get it through the state for review. Another month after that to have a letting. So we're probably looking October-ish for a letting, and then a couple, 3 months to construct it. We'll be heading into the winter, so maybe a couple, 3 is 4 or 5. But that would put us in pretty good shape for like early May of next year to have it up and operational.
So I might throw a question out to our board then. If we've committed 150 to the soccer fields, would we want to just commit that money to this building, or just some portion of that amount, or just all of it, and then we spend everything we've pledged towards it?
Josh, I probably need to abstain, correct?
I think probably from the vote that wouldn't be terrible, but I'm not. Chris. Adam is the president or the vice.
No,
just
an
active
member. Yeah, member on the board now
of the youth soccer, which would they're not having any ownership of it or any. It's our project. Chris, do you have an opinion on that?
If it had to be voted on tonight, I think you could probably get by, but my preference would be to abstain due to that relationship.
Okay.
But I think if he abstains, doesn't that take you out of quorum?
No.
3 of 5.
You still have 3. Okay. Yeah, then you should be fine.
Okay. So Adam, I guess abstention from the vote would be
Okay.
relevant, but commentary or answers to David's question, I think, would be fine.
Agreed.
Doc, I think that, releasing the 150 now and just whatever Josh or the mayor and Mr. May want to do, whatever they decide, whatever they come up with, and they can have free go at it, then we're done with, with the money. We don't have to come back and forth with it and add it up and see how much we have left. In my opinion, we just release it and be done.
I tend to agree. We've already committed to it.
And it also helps clean up our list a little bit while we are going through the list. That way we could take it off and be done. Because it could be a couple years before that list is rebuilt again that we're currently going through with our project list.
Yeah. Jamie, any thoughts from you?
No, it's fine.
Ken or Jamie, you care to make a motion regarding this?
I would make a motion that we go ahead with 150,000 as we already agreed to do.
Thank you, Ken.
Okay.
And Jamie seconds that.
Yes.
Thank you. Adam, would you conduct roll call vote, please?
Yeah, Dr. Weigel,
Yes.
Adam Wenzel, abstain. Ken Dornick,
Yes.
Jamie Humphrey.
Yes.
Motion carries 3-0 with 1 abstention.
I think too that this would be well to share with the Reedy group that you've committed this 150,000 so they can include that in their cash flow.
Agree.
I will pass that on in the next correspondence.
Thank you, Mark. It looks like have all those projects discussed. We have, I think there's 2 claims we have to pay. The first one is American Structure Point, $8,000.13 regarding Phase 2. And then we have another claim for $8,685.83 to Reedy Financial Group for the cash flow projections and things they've done. Should we just pay both of these out of our 802 rather than our construction fund? According to the financials, the most up to date we have $454,644 minus the 150 we're talking about for the project. That leaves us 304,000. So this would take us down to 16,000 off of 285. But we should be getting funding from the city, from the county property tax payments. I don't know if we'll get that in June like we usually do, or if that might be delayed till July or August, though. I don't know if anybody's heard anything or knows anything with that.
If I may, David,
Please.
the discussion with the courthouse is that the tax payment will be made on time, maybe even as early as next week. At least for what's been collected. Now, of course, the state has allowed for delays, but they do plan to do a standardized disbursement for what has been collected. So you should be getting that money before your next meeting.
I don't think that really would be any problem then for our cash flow if we just choose to pay both of these out of our.
You will have, David, the July bond payment.
And that should be, the principal's 250, and I think we had, I don't know if there would be about 25 or 30 or 35,000 in interest.
Hold on, I'll tell you here in just a second.
Okay.
Times 0.0327 times 0.5. It'll be around 37,600.
37 plus 245, 282.6. So even if we don't get any disbursement, we would any property tax money, we would still have that. So I think we could pay all that if we want to out of 802.
Ron, Mark, question for you on Reedy Financial. We're just under 16,000 so far in invoices from them. I haven't seen anything substantial. The first one, obviously, they've had to redo. It looks like we had to pay it anyway, even though they had to put the numbers in there. How many more bills or how much more do you anticipate and costs are going to be before we actually finally see the work that they've done?
Adam, I don't want to pass the buck, but I'm going to defer to the mayor. I have not seen the contract with Reedy, and I don't know how far through the process they are. I don't think you got billed and then got billed from the redo. I think your billings as they continue through the project. But Josh can further explain that.
Yeah, so I guess I anticipated that question a little bit because whenever I opened the invoice again, I was like, well, damn. And then I opened mine, and you should see that one. I expressed the concern to them again about how there's another invoice and we seem to not be making much progress. They did seem to have some concern about the first time we met, which we cleared that up a little bit, I thought. And then we're here. I think what's giving them a lot of trouble, and I'm happy again to establish if you don't want to pay them, that's okay. If you want to have another meeting with them, I'm happy to do that too. I think what's giving them a lot of trouble is how the Honda TIF links in with you guys. They seem to be struggling with how that funding structure works, where that money comes from, and who controls it. And I've tried to talk with them about that's kind of a separate thing that we just get a check from. We don't need to be investigating that very much. And I'm not sure that we've cleared that hurdle yet. And I know that they've been spending time with Barnes and Thornburg, who was your bond counsel, who's the city's bond counsel and was the bond counsel for the TIF district that was created under Honda. So I guess to answer Adam's question directly, I don't know. And that's a problem, and I continue to express that concern. So if you want me to establish another point of contact or another contact with them and say, okay, how far are we and what are we doing? I'm happy to do that. There's no offense taken to it. They seem to be making decent progress on the city's budgetary side of things. They seem to be making decent progress with the utility side of things. It seems to be your division that they're in a hiccup with. So you guys tell me what you want from me. You guys tell me if you don't want to pay the bill, and we'll talk to them again, or because I don't disagree with Adam's comment.
Personally, we should pay our bills. I think we should. I think my only concern is this: we had a bill for the original $6,080.84, and after meeting with them, I felt like they were going to go back and plug the correct numbers in and kind of, alleviate some of the issues they had with it being correct. I didn't know it was going to turn out to be an entire new bill that was even higher. And then I saw we had a $1,109 bill as well. So now we're up to just under $16,000, and which is fine if we have everything done financially. That is one of the things I've been saying since I started 8 years ago. We need to make sure we have all this correct. So I am thrilled that we are going down this road, but I want to make sure that we don't keep spending and never get to the end and wind up $60,000, $70,000 into this and still not really have an idea of what we're doing. I'm sure Reedy's doing a great job. Personally, I base my knowledge on our finances on a lot of what Mark and Ron say. They know the pennies. Right now, they know everything, and so their guidance is very important to me at least. But I like that we're putting this down on paper. I just want to make sure there's an end goal with this project or with this idea.
And I will work on that between now and your next meeting, and I will send myself a note as soon as we get off here and invite one of them, if not Eric Reedy himself, to your next meeting, if you would like, to sort of explain why it took this long, or what this was, where we are, and where we need to still be going at that point. If you guys would like for that, I'm happy to request his presence. I assume our June meeting will be in person. That's my goal. But we'll just have to sort of wait and see. And that might be a good opportunity. I'm trying to get him in front of the city council at that point in time too. If not the regular June meeting, maybe a special June meeting, because their budgetary style is a little bit different. It is more planning for what's coming versus just what's happening in the next year. So they did sort of warn me that, hey, this is going to take a little bit of time, but I'm also I'm with Adam, and whenever I open my invoice to them, I'm like, what am I getting for this? And I'm hopeful that the end product is good. I've seen an example of their end product. I believe it will be. It's just the capital outlay to get us there.
I think we'd all be more comfortable if they could possibly attend that June meeting and just get it all out in front of us, so we're all talking one-on-one to them. I just think we'd be more comfortable in general. That's just my opinion.
I agree.
I would agree also. Do we want to pay this bill, or do we want to hold off on this bill right now?
I would think we'd pay it, Dave.
Okay.
As bill we owe, let's pay it. But we'll feel more comfortable if they come down.
I agree.
Okay. I'd entertain a motion then to pay both those bills if somebody would care to make that motion.
So moved.
Thank you, Ken. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Adam. Motion made and seconded. Adam, if you'd conduct roll call vote, please.
Yeah. Dave Weigel.
Yes.
Adam Wenzel. Yes. Ken Dornick.
Yes.
Jamie Humbert.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. Thank you. Looks like we're about at the end of our agenda. June 18th is not a good day for me because I would have to Zoom from a long way away, but if we have to have Zoom, I guess I could be at the meeting, but I'll be out of town that day. That week, excuse me. So I don't know if we'd want to move up or move back or have the meeting without me. It's fine with me.
I'd prefer to have you there, David, if that's possible.
I think we should, just because it might be tough to get a quorum, so.
Right.
Yeah.
So whether we move up or back does not make a difference to me.
From construction perspective, Ron, do you think it matters much one way or the other, moving up or moving back?
I do not. The only thought I have is if we learn from the bank that there's something we could or should be doing a week earlier, would maybe give us a little more time, but a week later might let us catch something kind of at the last minute. So I think it's a 50-50. As to the letting itself, it'll be a couple weeks past that meeting whenever you schedule it, so I don't think it'll matter there.
Okay.
June 25th sound okay?
Sounds good with me.
You good with that? Jamie, you good with June 25th?
Should be fine.
Your Honor, Mr. Mayor, are you good with that?
I am moving it in the calendar right now. I'll let Reedy know that that's the date.
We'll have to advertise a special meeting, but
okay,
no big deal.
All right. Any other questions or comments?
Steve, we have one more meeting with you in June, correct, before you head off of the school board, and we'll be welcoming a new school board member.
I believe so. I think my last meeting in the school board will be probably June the 9th, I think. And I think I'm off at that point.
Okay.
So a new person will be sworn in that date, I believe. So whoever Tom would, or the board would propose, then I think would go to the June meeting. I think.
Okay. So with that would be, this is your last RDC meeting. Thanks for serving in this capacity. We appreciate it.
It was fun to hold a place for a few months. So
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
Never, you're welcome.
And you're always welcome to stop by the meetings regardless.
They are open, that's a fact.
You could switch me. I could take your spot and you take mine.
I don't know.
saw a lot of smiles.
Don't tempt us.
Anybody have anything else?
Adam, thank you for being our scribe.
Yes.
Yeah,
thank you, Adam.
don't thank me yet.
Has anybody heard about Daryl's wife, how she's doing?
No, I have not.
Okay.
All right, well, if there's nothing else, we'll adjourn the meeting. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Go on, be
you.
safe.
You too. Everybody stay safe.
Have a good weekend, everybody.
You too.
See you. Have